Hello, everyone. Alan here with MLS Renovation Express, which is MLSRenovationExpress.com. I have with me today Rob from Real Estate Envision. He is the architectural designer I partnered with my company to offer what we do on MLSRenovationExpress.com. Welcome, Rob. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to get into what you do and do best, which is specifically the idea of finding potential listings on the MLS. So let's start there. I'll say real quick, I watched in the several seminars that we did, I watched you do this in front of the audience. It was just so smooth and just such a great idea. And it doesn't take long.
Oh,
So I'll let you take over
no, it shouldn't take long.
and take a look.
Yep. So I'll take you right to my screen. So everybody in the real estate profession should be fairly comfortable with the MLS. This is what we see when we start looking for listings. So Alan, it's really quite simple. The only thing that you'll look for is when you go into the search bar, you'll look for a detailed search icon. From here, really what we're trying to look for are the expired listings. Remember, these are the listings that we're hoping to renovate. And so looking at expired listings that have been on the market for over 30 days are the ones that we're going for. Now, depending on really where you're located, I'm just going to do a broad brush search here and look in the county of Lehigh Valley.
Okay, quick. Let me insert. Expired listings are important because inventory is king right now in this market we're in. So we want to get these houses back online, back as part of the inventory. And we know that if a realtor lists a house and positions it properly, it's going to sell.
Correct. And at this point, these homes have been on the market one or two or maybe even three times, Alan. And part of the reason why we're doing this and we're gearing our fixer-upper towards these types of properties are these are the properties that nobody wants to purchase. These are the ones that have stayed on the market for longer than 30 days. And so we're giving an incentive for the homeowners to utilize us because we're giving them a program that they haven't seen yet. All
Exactly.
right, so that's why we're going for these expired listings. So for this search, we're going to try the Lehigh Valley. We're not going to put any sort of price up here because we just want to get, like I mentioned, a broad brush search. One thing to remember is you want to make sure that it's in the residential subtype. We're not looking to do anything with residential lots or residential rentals. We're looking purely for homes.
Mhm.
You can technically, if you wanted to, limit this to certain types of homes. If you wanted to go after twins or townhomes, that's completely up to you. I like to keep this as broad as possible. Now, one thing you see here at the bottom is that there's 5,000 plus matches. Personally, I like to make sure that when I'm looking at the expired, I'm looking at from today up to 6 months ago. So I'll go ahead and put 0 to 180 days.
Mhm.
Which will then bring it down to 328 matches. Now, as soon as you press the result button, I mean, it's just going to populate a list. So really from here, what you're looking for and what's really important is you want to see the days on market. We're not trying to go for expired listings that have been on the market for 7 days. No, those are probably expired because the owner at the end of that decided they didn't want it on the MLS.
Understood.
We're looking for anything 30 plus days. All right. So we'll just start looking here. And at this point in your search, you really are going to have to start clicking on each of these individual listings and going through the houses. And I'll go through the process that I would use in order to vet my properties. Um, so you could see here, this has been on the market for 47 days. It was listed at 191. It looks like a fairly nice house, but we're going to pass on this. It's the first one. I'm sure there's going to be others more. It looks like it's a fairly nice facade, so it doesn't really look like it needs a lot of work.
So
Um,
that's an important point. When you bring up these expired listings, do you have to comb through manually to find the fixer-upper types, or is
yes,
I see.
yes.
I see.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by going through these. If you were to look at the single line display grid, there's no way for you to see what these houses look like. And if you really wanted to start from the houses that have stayed on the market the longest, you can click on this days on market icon, and it should automatically populate from the longest. So we could see here the first one that we're looking at has been on the market for 1,361 days. Now, if we were to click on that, there's different types of homes that have been on the market. The ones that you'll see, and if you've been in the industry long enough, you'll notice a lot of the million-dollar properties tend to stay on the market a lot longer
Yeah,
because the pool of buyers are a little bit more limited. So I say just click through, look for houses that look like they need renovation. Another common house you'll see are new construction homes, because what they do is the home developer will use that as an advertisement for them to build homes. So you'll see that they've been on the market for 600 days.
I see. So
Okay,
flipping through the next button will take you through that whatever of 328 very quickly. And it looks like
correct.
4 of 328 might be something that we're looking for. The one you just clicked.
Yes. Yes. Um, so looking at this, we could already see this has been on the market for 516 days. It says it right here, handyman special. That's always a great term
Right.
because you know that it's going to need some work. The original listing, or the listing price, is 169. The original was 129, so they increased it, but nobody bought it. And then when you click on the picture, you could see that it is in need of a little bit of rehab, right? It could certainly use renovations. It's tough to really peg whether or not this is a good one, only because we're not really seeing the inside of this. Um, so let's move on. But this is certainly a candidate.
And can you set that aside, I guess, in your MLS?
Certainly. So what you can do is you could click on this button right here, which will put a check mark down here on the carts. You could add a new cart. You know, you could add a cart that you could call Fixer Upper.
Sure.
And this is where you could put all of the homes that you're seeing, whether or not you want them, you want to utilize them, but it'll give you the cart so that you could look at these houses later down the line. So this one right here, I could already tell would be a perfect candidate. Again, handyman special. It's been on the market for over a year. It looks like the facade is in need of a lot of work.
Perfect.
Oh, and perfect. It has interior shots.
Yes.
All right. So this would be a perfect candidate for our program.
Absolutely. Look at that. I want to go inspect that right now.
Right. So once you have this, Alan, the next thing you would do is we already know, because this is everything that you're seeing here are all expired listings. The next thing you would do is try to get a hold of the owner. You could either go to this location, knock on the door if they live there, introduce yourself as an agent who specializes in fixer-upper and try to sell them on this program. Or in this case, because this house looks like nobody lives there, if you clicked on the tax ID icon down here, it should take you to our CRS taxes. This will show you exactly the current owner and where they live.
Okay.
So what you could do is you could do something that I like to call reverse prospecting. All you do is either, you send them a letter, a handwritten letter, or you could visit them at this home and tell them that you're looking to sell this property address here. Or there are some programs out there where you could also look for their phone numbers. So anything that you could get to try to get information on the current owner. And then having that conversation about this new program that hasn't been seen before, that you have the ability to show them the after of what their house can be and put it on the MLS. So it's really up to you as an agent, however you would like to utilize that.
At which point you would show, you as a realtor would show the potential client and the potential listing for yourself. You would show them MLSRenovationExpress.com, explain to them how it works along with your listing presentation.
Correct.
Got it. So this, what we just did right here brings up an important point that you're not only finding potential listings, but you're qualifying them. And you just
Correct.
explained how you qualify them. Is if you were to find, let's say, out of these 328, let's say you had 30, which is about 10%, a little less than 10%, that were good quality candidates. Um, Other than what you just said, let's say you had them in the folder in your fixer-upper folder and you had 30 of them, how would you prioritize or how would you go about qualifying them to approach to see if you can get their listing?
I mean, it literally is a grab bag. Not all 30 people will automatically hire you, right? And in the industry of real estate, it is a numbers game. So the more phone calls and the more door knockings you make, the more listings you'll get. So if it were me personally, I would knock on these people's doors, or I would try to find a way to get in touch with the owners.
Sure, sure. It's my understanding that from a realtor's perspective, it is better to have the listing side than the buyer side. Is that more desirable for a realtor?
Yes. Only because if you're on the listing side, you have other agents working, with you to get that home sold. And with this program, not only are they going to be able to see really what the end product is going to be, but they're going to be able to see the added value that you're bringing in, not just to the home, but also to the community. I mean, really, a lot of the homes that we're seeing here, we're really trying to bring value just to the community as well. Rehabbing these types of homes, renovating these types of homes are a great way to really reinvigorate that space in that area.
Mm. Yeah, so I think that sums up, one of several reasons why we're doing this. One is to bring inventory online that's not online currently. Online meaning in the MLS and just generally available. And number two is that realtors can develop a nice little listing business for themselves with, some work. It's not no time, and there's time you have to put into it, but it's cause and effect. So for a realtor to put some time into this, knock on doors, reach out, email, telephone call, present a nice listing presentation, it's very possible to build up a listing business for themselves that they wouldn't otherwise have. Would you say that's
Certainly.
a fair statement?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so the last thing I would want to know if you can do, and just to let everybody know, Rob and I really didn't go through this or prepare this at all. It's just Rob's so familiar with doing this. I just wanted to see him do it live. The one thing I saw that you did during the seminar is you had a map. Is that an MLS thing, or is that something you did with your design skills on the side?
Yeah, that was just something I did on the side. It was the map that populated some of the properties that were on the market longer than 30 days, I believe is what you're talking about, right?
I see. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was something that I did for the presentation.
yeah. So I guess pinning these addresses on a map is as easy as using an iPhone or your Samsung or whatever, and getting an
Sure.
idea for a
Yeah,
realtor.
I mean, if you wanted to as well, we have the ability, if we go back here, um, to look at a map so that you'll be able to see the searches. These are in the county of Lehigh. All these that you're seeing here are those fixer-uppers, all being shown on a map.
So these are the 328 that you searched
Correct.
in your query.
Yep.
Beautiful. That is beautiful and easy and a good feature on MLS for sure.
Yep.
Well,
And
this is
it's just a
excellent.
tab
So
up here.
what's that?
It's just a tab up here that you click on.
Yep. And the last thing I really want to send home, because this is really important and it's easy to overlook, is that when Rob provides one of the photos that we're going to, provide to you, actually, we provide two photos. One is the full, simulation, the whole house. And the second is what we call the slash through. It's the before on the right, the after on the left, kind of like with a slash through the middle, and you can see it in one eyeball. Um, you're doing those by hand design. You're not running them through software. AI is not involved in this. We didn't call AI and ask them to do their work. It's not ready yet. It's nowhere near Rob's capability of understanding architectural design, understanding features that might match the neighborhood. If while using MLSRenovationExpress.com, if you want to send a picture of the neighbor's house and say, hey, if this design looks similar to the neighbor's house, is that something you can do? That's certainly something that you can entertain. Is that correct, Rob?
That's exactly true. So, I've been in the industry. I have in the architectural industry, I have a decade's worth of experience with designing. And so I'm a firm believer that a house should really be, it should look like its surroundings, right? It shouldn't stick out. And if it does stick out, it should stick out in the right sort of way. And so when you take something such as the house that we just saw. We don't want to make it stand out too much. And so you're absolutely right. When I start designing, it would be best if I could see the surrounding area. And that's something, if the other agent wanted to send me photos of what the other houses look like, I could certainly tailor this home to that. But also, I think it's just the design integrity. We want to make sure that we are honoring what the architecture looks like. And unfortunately, AI doesn't have that ability. I think you need experience. I feel like you do need the eye in order to do that. And right now, the machine just isn't that smart. And it's a really easy process, Alan. I know you mentioned it multiple times, but if you decided that this was the house that you wanted to take and go through the process of putting it through Envision, you would send a picture just like this, and then I would start looking through this in 3D and designing it in 3D. What you'll get is a snapshot of this. You'll get the before, which is what you have, and the after. And like you mentioned, you would get the slash in the middle with the before and after. But if you ever encounter a potential buyer that says, hey, listen, Mr. Realtor or Mrs. Realtor, I really like this house. I really see your vision of what you want this to be, but it's only one side. How do I know what it's going to look like on the other side? That's a conversation that you could have with me later down the line and say, listen, Rob, is there any way that you could just show a bit of the other side? And so that's one thing that AI will never be able to do, because when I do design, it's designing on all four sides of this house, not just the straight on facade shot.
And not only that, speaking to the audience here, Rob has the capability of doing full three-dimensional renderings of each floor of the inside. So the capabilities are far, far beyond the simple, exterior simulation that we see that Rob would provide. So if any of those questions come up where the need arises, such as the larger houses, Rob is certainly capable of doing that and can entertain that. So for example, if I were going to spend a lot of money on a house, 500,000 or more, I would absolutely pay for a 3D render inside. That way I know the colors, I know the materials, the contractor can order them ahead of time, and the renovation process, the actual construction time just moves quicker. It moves more efficiently and quicker, and that saves the money that someone would pay you anyway. Plus, the outcome is more predictable and enjoyable when they get there.
Plus, it also makes for a really great marketing piece. I mean, not a lot of realtors use this, but when you're going through the MLS and when you're clicking through photos here, one thing that we could certainly do is have a QR code. As soon as a potential buyer scans that code, it goes through a video that shows what the final product will be in 3D. I mean, not a lot of realtors can say that. So you'll definitely stand out of the crowd.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you mentioned before that it's easy to do. I want to separate that the process that we set up is very easy. It's a three-step process on MLSRenovationExpress.com. You send your photo, we upload the photo, we send it back. You'll have two different photos to choose from. It's a real easy three-step process, but I want to separate that from understanding that what you do is easy. It's easy for you because it's what you, Rob, do as a skilled professional. But I actually tried to do this a year before we talked. I found software on the internet, and then I tried to reface a house, and it was a complete disaster. because you need a high level of skill to do it. I bailed out really quick, and I thought, I have to find a professional to do this. And then, you and I met, and we just walked this right to where it is now, which is an easy combination with both of our skill sets. And then you add the realtors in there who can sell it, and I think we're going to really achieve the desired goal of getting inventory back online, creating nice little businesses for realtors who want to, spend some time doing this and create more sales, more revenue, more money, build businesses. I'm very, very excited about this.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Rob. And you can undo sharing the screen, I guess.
Yes, of course.
Is on your side or mine. So thanks again, Rob. Everyone, we look forward to talking to you further about this. If you have any questions, you can reach me through MLSRenovationExpress.com. We'd be happy to, just walk you through the process. There's going to be discounts available on it for quite some time, just so we get this going and get it in everybody's hands and really make it work for everyone. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great day.